In this video, I'm going to give you a walk-around tour of the 2020 Simplicity Courier. Now, this is my own personal mower. I bought this mower for a 1-acre property that I normally live on. Now, I have a Citation XT 61-inch as well for another property with that 3.5 acres that I use that one on. Now, I'm just going to give you a walk around. I'm going to talk about some of the cool features it has, a couple of the real reasons why I bought this model. Comparing this to the Citation XT is kind of like apples to oranges, but I'll kind of talk about it in comparison because that's the two mowers I have. Now, you wouldn't really want this mower to mow 3.5+ acres, where a Citation XT you could mow all day long. This, I believe, is made for about a 1/2 to 2 acre yard. Now, there's no arm rests. You can probably order some and put them on it, so your arms will get a little tired. It does have 4-wheel suspension, but it's not independent, so it doesn't give you that Cadillac ride like a Citation XT will. Now, the price of this one, you're looking at around $4,000. I think there's like a $75 or $150 mail-in rebate on them. They do have 0% financing for them right now if you're interested in doing stuff like that. But I'm going to kind of walk around, show you the features, give you a little bit idea of the machine, talk about how it feels to mow, kind of compared to my Citation XT. And hopefully by the end of the video you'll be a little more informed. And I'm going to be doing a series of videos on this. I'll probably do one with the GoPro on the suspension, one with me riding it after I mow, maybe another month or two with it, some kind of follow-up reviews. So keep watching for a series of videos on this machine as time goes on. Well, let's take an up-close personal look at the 2020 Simplicity Courier. So right here at the front of the machine you can see the suspension, and it's not an independent suspension, it's kind of a rocker type suspension. So as one side comes up, another side's going to have to go down. It is adjustable, as you can see right here. You can adjust that with a sprayer wrench. I believe they come set up out of the factory for about a 210-pound rider. This does actually have nice wide front wheels on it, so it doesn't really leave much grooves in your yard as you mow with it. Over here, this knob here is just for lifting up this floor pan to service your belts. These two knobs here and here, that's for if you're let's say you're going full speed and it's either going right or left. You can adjust your levers here to equal out so it goes in a straight line. Now, these levers here are also your parking brake. So that leads me to probably the biggest con of this machine. There's really no set parking brake. You just need to have your levers all the way out. If you can see me, I'll flip this over. It moves just a little bit. Well, let's say you're going to haul this on your trailer and you pull these out to set your parking brake and you hit a couple bumps. That's going to pop right back in and it's going to disengage your parking brake. So that's probably the biggest con of this machine, and probably my only gripe about it. The parking brake pretty much sucks. Well, coming around over here to this side, like I said, this is the 48-inch deck. The 52-inch deck I really didn't need for my property, and I'm going to hook this up to a lawn and leaf catcher, and that actually works a little better with the 48-inch deck. So that's why I bought the 48. There's really no reason I wouldn't have bought the 52. Maybe if I had a little bit bigger yard I would have went with it, and I think it was maybe another 500 bucks, something like that, I'm not sure. Now, one of the biggest pros is this mesh seat. This seat is super comfortable. Now, it's 94 degrees out today, and your back will not get sweaty, your butt won't get sweaty. If there's a slight breeze, it goes right through that mesh seat, keeps you nice and cool. The seat's actually on springs as well, so you have 4 shocks and the seat is on springs. So this provides a super comfortable ride. Let's say you were looking at a Simplicity Regent or a Broadmoor. Even those with suspension on the rear is not going to ride even close to as nice a ride this is. And this is going to, you know, speed up your mowing time. Let's say you have a Simplicity Regent or Broadmoor with the same size deck and you're mowing the same size yard. Let's say you're mowing 2 acres. This machine is going to cut 25 minutes off your mowing time easy. So getting back over here, there's a cup holder for 2 different size cups, which mowing with a 0 turn is kind of hard to drink and drive at the same time because you let go of one lever and you're going to go in a circle. But it does have cup holders. And there is the fuel gauge right there. Now that leads me probably to the second con of the machine, which isn't a huge one. If you look down in there at the shape of the gas tank, well, the fuel gauge goes to right here. So when it shows empty, you still actually have about 1/8 to 1/4 of a tank of gas. Now why they put the fuel gauge there, I have no idea, but the fuel gauge is not very accurate. When it shows empty, you still have actually plenty of gas. Briggs & Stratton motor. I'm a huge fan of Briggs & Stratton. I think they make the best mowers you can buy. I think they're, you know, better than the Kawasaki's, better than the Kohlers. I've had both of those in the past, and Kohler had some years where the motors will all blow up. Kawasaki had a few years where the motors blow up. The Briggs & Stratton seem to be fairly consistent in making good quality products. Now, speaking of the cup holders, you do have a little holder here, maybe for a cell phone if you want to put it in here. And this one has the rear cargo box on it. Now, I haven't really used it. Maybe it will come in handy someday. But it is there. Let's say you want to carry a bag of fertilizer somewhere or something. It's there, and it does dump. You just pull those pins right there. And you can get it without this cargo box. My dealer always orders the ones with the cargo boxes because it seems like that's what most people want. Whether you use it or not, it's going to be up to you. So coming back here, you can kind of see the motor a little bit, the rear suspension. Now, once again, the rear suspension is not independent. It's still a rocker style. This is a pretty solid, I'll call this kind of a bumper guard. A lot more solid than I thought it was going to be. I actually use this right here to strap it down to the trailer. It does come with a fuel filter, and there's your oil filter right there. And coming around over here to this side is your deck cutting height. It goes from 1 inch all the way up to 4 3/4 of an inch. Very easy to adjust the cutting height. Now, speaking of the deck, as you can see back here, it does have the Simplicity rollers on it. But this isn't actually a true free-floating deck. So let's say your front tire goes into a hole in your yard or a huge bump. The deck is going to kind of follow that wheel. It's not a true free-floating deck like the Regent, like the Broadmoor, like the Citation. It's more of a suspended style of deck. So if you have a pretty smooth yard, you're not going to notice any difference. But if you have a yard with a bunch of dips, divots, or big mounds of dirt or something, it won't mow quite as good as a true free-floating deck. Now, I haven't noticed, my yard's pretty well flat. I haven't noticed any difference. I think it cuts excellent, just as good as any other mower I've had in the past. And actually, I'm more surprised at how well it rides and how well it cuts than I thought I would be. Of course, most dealers don't let you really test drive and test mow. Some of them do, but mine didn't have anything available to test drive, so I went ahead and bought it, and I'm actually surprised at how well it cuts, how well it rides. I know by previous experience that the motor was going to be nice and smooth and quiet, so that didn't surprise me none. and I'm kind of surprised at how fast it mows. Now, this is kind of a smaller residential machine, and it mows just as fast as the commercial ones do. So it leads me to one of the last things that I really like about it is, as you can see, there's no choke lever. This has an automatic choke. It doesn't matter where you position the throttle, it will automatically choke if it needs to. And this thing starts up right away. It's unbelievable how easy it starts. It actually starts better than my Citation XT, which costs twice as much money. So those are kind of the pros and cons of the Simplicity Courier. Once again, this is a 2020 model. It was only on, the dealer only had this one for like 3 days before I bought it. So it is as new as it gets. I've mowed with it a couple times. I think I have about 3 hours on it. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a series of videos on it, mowing in some different areas. I'll put the GoPro on suspension so you guys can kind of follow me along and see how much I bounce around. Now, I'm not sure if you can hear in the background, but my neighbor's mowing. He's got a $12,000 diesel Kubota mower with a 60-inch deck, and this thing rides twice as good as that does. So this is a $4,000 mower. He's got a $12,000 mower. I'd rather mow with this thing all day long. Now, that being said, that Kubota mows about 7 acres of grass every week, and it will probably outlast this Simplicity, but just for comparison's sakes, these new Simplicity mowers with the suspension are just awesome. So I hope this was informative. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Keep watching for more videos to come. I hope you guys decide on a mower using my video information. Helps you out, and I thank you for watching.